I've been in this class for 4 years. I think Mr. Cutler's a great teacher. He's taught me a lot.
We have a head start on construction industry.
Mr. Cutler stresses about safety all the time.
I've really found that I can work with carpentry. I'm very talented with that.
If we enjoy it, it allows us to have, as Mr. Cutler would say, tools in our toolbox.
By coming to school and working hard, and because that's the one thing industry says, send me some students who will show up for work.
Welcome to Chamber Talk. My name's Heath Taylor. I'm the President and CEO of the Dublin-Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce. And I have a guest with me today. I have a friend with me today, and a friend to our community here. I have Mr. Tim Chatman with me. He's the City Police Chief of Dublin-Lawrence County. Tim, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come.
Glad to have you here. I don't even know, you and I have had so many great conversations already and about Dublin and Lawrence County. And, you know, I almost introduced you as the new police chief, and you're still fairly new in your role.
Somewhat.
I'm still fairly new in my role. But first off, and I know folks, most of our viewers probably have seen you. You've been on the TV and on the radio and things. But for those, there may be one or two who don't know exactly who Tim Chatman is. Share a little bit with our viewers just about Tim Chatman.
Okay. My name is Tim Chatman. I'm currently the new chief of police here at Dublin, Georgia. I graduated from West Lawrence High School, born and raised here in Dublin. Began my career with the East Dublin Police Department, worked there for about 2 years. Was fortunate to be hired at the Dublin Police Department. And I came on board, stayed about almost 7 years and some change, I believe, give or take. And began my career with the GBI in 1992.
Okay.
Been a minute ago.
Telling some birthdays.
Yeah, yeah. So I worked 22 years with GBI, retired, came back here at the police department to, you know, just pitch in and see what I can do to help make a change with everybody else. So a lot of people, you know, doing a great service here at the city.
So police work, has that, from when, I know when we were kids, you know, we played out in the yard and everybody had their own little superheroes and different things. Has police work always been on your mind?
Well, kind of, sort of, and actually I was a part of the Dublin Police Cadet Program when I was young. It was something I just could not shake that for nothing in the world. When I graduated from high school, I went to school at Macon Tech. I thought I wanted to get into architect and designs and masonry and stuff like that, which is a good skill to have as well. And I had a friend of mine, Johnny B. Hall, who was a trooper at the time.
Mm-hmm. He was actually honored last night at the St. Patrick's Day Awards banquet. Yes, sir.
Somewhat at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually influenced, you know, that part of me, if you will. And I pursued that and got the job at East Dublin. I'm also a pastor at Mount Moriah. I've been over there for about 16 years. It's in Montgomery County, right between Mount Vernon and Vidalia, Georgia. I call it the church in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. But
we have a large congregation. It's a very out-the-box church, very progressive church. I'm big on building people.
Amen.
And I get excited about the turnaround.
And Tim and I may say amen or
oh yeah, we're going to have some church
here.
now.
We're both pastors, and so we like to share our faith.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the strength of God. When the Lord can take what people call trash and turn it into treasure. And I equate it this way. When I look at Paul, who wrote majority of the New Testament, he didn't look at his soil, he looked at the Paul.
That's right.
And he overlooked the mess, if you will, and saw the messenger. Yeah, and that's what the Bible declares. If any man be in Christ,
he's a new creation.
He's a new creation.
All things old have passed away, and all things are new.
Yeah, I like to behold, which means look.
Behold. There you go.
Look.
I like that.
And when you look, he says that light is demanding attention, not for me particularly, but it does say, let your light so shine before men that they can see your good work, so God can get the glory. There has to be a good work in order for it to be equated to God.
That's right.
We've done our bad work, so we want to do a good work.
That's right.
And that's what he wants.
We could turn this into a Bible
Oh,
study
we'll
real
bring it.
quick.
Let's
couldn't we?
do it.
I want you to share with our viewers a little bit, Tim. You've had some experience outside of Dublin, Lawrence County in law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
Share with us a little bit about what you see outside of Dublin, Lawrence County versus the things that you've already seen here in Dublin, Orange County. What are some of the challenges that we're facing here?
Well, one, I would say Dublin's in good shape based on what I've seen.
Okay.
But we don't want it to get bad, you know, and that's why we are always trying to do things to make this place safer. But I've been a lot of places. I've seen a lot of things, sad things, and it appears that it's the same thing everywhere you go, but it's just at a different volume. From Atlanta, you have, what you hear a lot of young people say, well, if we had a lot to do, kids wouldn't get in trouble. Well, you think about Atlanta, there's a lot to do in Atlanta, but yet you have more kids, you know, doing, you know, serious things and not really using their mind. And what I try to preach is, you know, watch what you do when you're young because it'll affect you when you get old. You know, maybe that individual at a young age was just, you know, doing childish things and got a record and kept compounding or adding to that record. When the transformation occurs, the light bulb come on, I got to do something with my life. Well, the record is following you now, and so it becomes an anchor or it hampers where you're trying to go.
So that's important for our youth to understand that the decisions that you're making today are going to impact you for the remainder of your career.
Absolutely, it's going to follow. But I've seen a lot of stuff.
To what you said earlier, you know, I've been to some different chambers and some different communities, and overwhelmingly when you talk with youth, you hear that phrase, well, there just isn't anything to do.
Right.
You know, the folks that were in Aiken, South Carolina, when I was in Aiken, they said, well, we don't have anything to do. You know, and they would go to other towns. The folks in Augusta would say, well, we don't have anything to do. And then in Dublin, you know, well, we don't have anything to do. And I've kind of figured, well, wherever you live, there's not anything to do.
Well,
I guess we get used to the things we have and the blessings that we have, and we kind of take them for granted because that grass looks greener somewhere else to us sometimes.
well, we get bored. When I came up, you and I came up, we really didn't have much to do but to be creative. We can take a bicycle rim and make a basketball goal out of plywood, you know, and make it, you know, useful. We can draw in the sand and do hopscotch and stuff like that. Hide and go seek.
We could play with Green Army men and have a good time with
yeah,
them.
we can do something, and that creativity in us is brought out. I think that's a cop-out, really, to tell you the truth. But yet, it would be nice to have different things that we taught with our leadership class. What was it, about 3 months ago? I mean, 3 weeks ago, I believe it was. You know, to bring, you know, different things in for our youth. But even with that, you know, that's not going to be the piece that turn people around. That's a choice.
Right.
You may not have anything to do, but you got a choice.
Right.
What you're going to do with your life. So when it gets down to brass tacks, we have to be that investor in our own future, that stockholder, and you know, make the best of our lives. When you really think about our lives, we have one on this side. On this side, we have one.
Yeah.
And so what we choose to do with the one is very important. And that's not predicated on what the people in my circle is going to do. That's my choice. But we see the circle influencing other kids to do or make bad decisions. I always tell the young people, you know where you are, check your circle.
That's right.
Check your circles.
Well,
check your environment. Check who you're hanging around with. You know, if you're hanging around with people who want to break the law, then most likely you breaking the law.
Lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas.
And or you know, if you're hanging out with people who are creative, thinking about how to start businesses or you know, current events and stuff like that, most likely you're on the right track for success. And that is the earmark of change. check your company.
Check yourself. Well, and again, we spend so much time. I was talking with a group of folks yesterday. We focus on others and what their issues are, or what may even impress them, not just what we don't like about them. And if we would spend a little bit more time focusing on being the best me that I can be, then we can create a successful environment around us. Let's get a real quick break, Tim.
Okay.
We're going to hear from some of our wonderful sponsors that make this program possible, and we'll come back and continue our conversation.
Since 1987, Little House Self-Storage has been serving Dublin and Warner Robins with the best in customer service and the lowest prices anywhere. Any shape, any size, we have it, plus climate control. At Little House Self-Storage, safety and security are our top priority, with TV security, special lighting, wide drives for easy access, and 24-hour-a-day access to the storage facility. We invite all businesses to remember Little House Self-Storage for storing records, chip and cookie routes, or contractors. We can even store your car, motorhome, or airplane. Little House Self-Storage, Moody Road, Warner Robins, and Marion Street in Dublin.
Welcome back. I have my guest today and my friend Tim Chatman, City Police Chief of Dublin, Lawrence County here in the city of Dublin. And Tim's off to a great start with his group here and with our officers. And we just appreciate you, Tim, and what you guys are doing. You and I both, we like to talk about the good things in life. We like to focus on the blessings and just God is good.
He is.
And but at the end of the day, you and I, when we're being realistic and we get down to the bare roots of things, we do have some issues and some challenges. Crime in Dublin, and again, thankfully, maybe we're doing better than a lot of communities.
Right.
What's the number one issue facing our police officers today?
I believe when it comes to a particular crime, it would be, I would say, drugs as well as burglaries.
Pretty even, probably, and one leads to the other.
One
maybe?
leads to the other. You got to understand, drugs is the culprit, and if it's not that, you have kids who just, not going to work, not going to be productive, and try to break into your house. These things, I feel, are some of the issues that we've been working on very diligently to make a change, and I feel good about where we're going.
Okay.
We're going to get some things right. We're going to get some things wrong, but we learn. I've never been one to turn down failure. Failure is like gold to me. If we fail, we look at how we fail, go back, make our adjustments, be accountable. I don't like excuses. If we're wrong, I'll tell you, we dropped the ball on that. But at the same time, those men and women are working very hard to make our city safer. They are very dedicated to the vision and dedicated to their job.
Well, and you see in so many communities today, and even across the United States, a negative vibe toward law enforcement. And I certainly don't see that here. I don't feel that here. But we don't spend enough time appreciating those folks they're putting their life on the line for us each and every day. They're trying to protect us, and we don't hear enough of those good stories where local law enforcement has gone above and beyond what their call is to help out in the community. Share with me a little bit, if you would, in a chamber world, this would be called our program of work. What would be the program of work? What are the initiatives and the things that we have on tap that we might be seeing from our law enforcement? Okay,
before I get into the initiative, I think it's very important to say this about our police department. We have officers there who do a lot of things that's not advertised. I've seen officers in stores behind a customer who came up short on their money, and they reached in their own pocket and pulled their money out. I've seen officers, one particular officer take initiative. She saw some kids waiting for the bus, didn't have the proper hoods or gloves or scarves, and she took the initiative to talk with the other officers, and they raised money out of their own pocket.
Right, I saw that in the paper.
Right, to buy hoods and stuff like that. That's huge.
Right.
They don't have to do that. That's not in their job description, but it shows the type of individuals we have working here. One of the things in my office, I have a sign: the speed of the leader equals the speed of the crew. They know I wouldn't ask them to do anything that I wouldn't do first. And I'm proud of these men and women and how dedicated they are. And speaking of the initiatives, I'm proud of what we're doing, our Take It Back initiative. It works as a system. We were able to pitch that idea in Savannah before the whole state, and we were able to teach last week, Monday and Thursday, at Theatre Dublin for the community initiative that were brought to Dublin. And we were able to teach that program to that body. And a lot of people bought into what we're doing here in Dublin. I'm proud that this is not a copycat initiative. It is something that we started from the ground up, and we've already vetted that as well. And it's able to, get our communities involved using our neighborhood watch programs, using public works, every piece of government that we have in the city. Our mayor, our city manager, our council, they back our Take It Back initiative. With that, we also brought in to this whole scheme of things our Business Watch. We have a program that we actually just use from data and programs that's already out there. It's free programs. It's called Remind 101, that we're able to bracket our businesses like banks, jewelry stores, et cetera, et cetera. We have our Board of Education on one side. If there's something that we need to get out to them, that they're able to go on lockdown or give out information to the parents if something happened. We are more proactive on that mean. And we are proud of that piece. We have the open and empty convenience stores, not leaving money in the cash register. They put that sign in the door. Thief walk in or walk by, they see that. No need to break in that store because they're taking all the money out.
Right.
We have our Explorer Scout program. We have that the kids, they can stay in that program until they're 21 years old. So it's like an incubator, if you will. It creates opportunity for a career. At 21, they can cross the aisle if we have an opening. We've molded them all this time, so why not? Use what we've trained or raised up. So I'm proud of that piece.
So a lot of initiatives, a lot of things going on behind the scenes that folks may not be aware of. And again, I appreciate you taking your time today to come and share with our viewers to see. A lot of times we think, well, city police, okay, if I run a stop sign, if I'm speeding, if I'm doing something wrong, I'm going to have an encounter with our police department. And we don't want that to be the case. We want you to have friendly encounters and good encounters, and we want you to know that you're not just here to punish the bad guys. You're here to help them turn their lives around. Of course, if punishment's needed, punishment's going to it'll be dealt with. But for the overall good of this community and to spread a positive message. And I appreciate that about you, Tim, and I'm sure our community is going to prosper because of that. We're going to take one more short break, and then we're going to come back and wrap up.
The City of Dublin Natural Gas is growing to meet your needs by partnering with the community, like Moore Station Village, Masters Circle, The Legends, Walkridge, Live Oak, Benton House, Waterford, and Greystone. Examples of true partnership with the community. That's Dublin Natural Gas.
Welcome back to Chamber Talk. Again, I have City Police Chief with me, Tim Chatman, having a great conversation. I always enjoy getting to sit down and chat with you, Tim. And one of the programs you're working on, you mentioned it briefly in our conversation earlier, is the Transformer program, I think, and I've been to some of the meetings that you've had. Wonderful program. Share a little bit more in depth with our viewers about Transformers.
The Transformer was given to me by the Lord. Romans 12, verse 2, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind, which means, a child is not born to be a bigot or a thief or a robber or a pimp, any of those bad things. Something has conformed their mind or shaped them to be that.
Right.
And so this program is designed to transform, to pull them away from that, get them back on track. We have approximately a little bit over 20 people who are participating, men and women, young boys and girls that's participating with this program. The oldest one at one particular time was 52 years old.
Wow.
The youngest at one time was 11. I think we have a 7-year-old coming on board.
And this is right here in the city
Dublin.
of Dublin. Okay.
We've seen it had shaped, changed kids who were getting in trouble. It's a way out, get them back on track. We have some successes, we have some failures,
Sure.
but we keep moving, pushing the envelope. We have some kids as part of Fall Line Technical College coming off the street. And we see a change in the behavior in some of these organizations, legal organizations, if you will. And so we're very proud of that. Our mayor, city manager, assistant city manager, and city workers, they are very in tune with what we're doing. They're part of our board. We have our faith base. Bobby Jones is on board as well. We have other entities. I don't want to really get a name calling because I'll leave some names
Sure.
out. But we're working together to make an impact in this community. We're looking for some properties to purchase to have like training. Mm-hmm. The problem is walking, getting people to Fall Line Technical College or other
Right.
colleges. But we're trying to bring it to them.
Okay.
And offer life lessons, mentoring, what we call application 101. Even trying to get jobs. Some of these kids have never been trained
Right.
on how to fill out an application. So we're trying to do that
How to
as
dress
well.
for interviews,
Right.
all those sorts
So
of things.
we're trying to take that as a lead from the police department to do something that's never been done, not for bragging rights, but
Right.
for change. But even with all of that, everybody know our hard hand. We want to show that soft hand, as you just said. But at the end of the day, we don't cower down on doing our job. I've never offered, and I will not offer an apology for being hard on crime. I'm very hard on crime because I don't want people breaking into your house while you're sleeping or away or stealing stuff you work so hard to get, and somebody just come back and snatch it without due regard. It just don't make sense.
Right.
So I don't offer an apology for that. We're going to do our job. But at the same time, if an individual want to change,
We want to help.
we want to be that bridge to get them where we want them to be, because we want to break that recidivism. Every
Right.
time you turn around the same person, you put them in jail, they let them out, and we get frustrated. A lot of times people think the police let them out. No, if it was my choice, we'd keep them for a long time. But the law is set up that you're entitled for a bond.
Right.
We don't control that. But we're trying to is minimize and change the thinking process.
So I think we're hearing a great message today, and our message that Tim is sharing with us is the police department is here to help, and they're here to work with the community, to transform the community, to bring a positive environment to the community, and at the same time sending a stern message to say, hey, we're not going to accept any other type of behavior.
Right.
Those that need to be punished will be punished, and but those who won't help. The police department is here. The Chamber of Commerce is here. We're working with you in any ways that we can to help partner the business and industry folks to help with these initiatives. And together, we want to make Dublin Lawrence County a great place, a safe place for people to live and work and play. Tim, thank you again for joining us today. It's always a pleasure. And I want to remind everyone again that it's a great day for business in Dublin Lawrence County.